A cenotaph is a commemorative monument dedicated to a person or a group of people buried elsewhere. The Georgetown Cenotaph is a war memorial located in Guyana's capital at the intersection of Main and Church Streets. Unveiled on August 14, 1923 by Governor Graham Thompson, the Georgetown Cenotaph honors the Guyanese soldiers who served and lost their lives in the First and Second World Wars. World War I and II were two global wars originating in Europe. They were the largest military conflicts in human history. World War I lasted for 4 years, from 1914 to 1918. World War II lasted for 6 years, from 1939 to 1945. British Guyanese soldiers voluntarily enlisted and traveled overseas as members of the British West Indies Regiment during World War I. The British West Indies Regiment served in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. For their brave service, a number of soldiers of the British West Indies Regiment were awarded gallantry medals. Again, during World War II, British Guyanese volunteered to fight Hitler and the Nazis, with some joining the British Caribbean forces. Others also served in the British Navy, Royal Air Force, and the Women's Corps, most famously serving in the Royal Air Force to serve with love author E.R. Brafitt and Cy Grant, movie star and entertainer. In the 1943 British production Hello West Indies, two outstanding British Guyanese women were highlighted for their service.
Talking of radio, I'd like to tell you about a girl in the WAF from British Guiana. She's in the control room at an ops bomber station. Behind the freckles and red hair is Barbara Matthew. Barbara is in direct communication with the bomber in the air and when landing. Her voice is familiar to all the crews at this station, and she's relied on for safe guidance in the foulest of weather.
The ATS has proved to be a popular service for West Indians, and they are to be found doing all kinds of jobs. One of the most unusual is that of retreading tires. The Army retread quite a lot of their own tires, and here we have Lance Corporal Williams of British Guiana arriving at work. Williams is one of the very few West Indians in the Royal Army Ordnance Corps, and for 8 hours a day she works side by side with the troops.
Guyanese war veteran Kenneth King joined the war effort when he was just 17 years old in 1942. He served for 5 years before he was demobilized.
They joined the Army as a wireless operator because we had knowledge of Morse code. And they wanted operators, they wanted to open a radio station. So we joined the Army, and after I think about roughly about 6 months, I was transferred to Trinidad, and I gave the rest of my service was spent in Trinidad. But I traveled in the Caribbean, but I was stationed in Trinidad.
Guyanese served bravely during the war and, like other countries, suffered serious injuries and were even captured as prisoners of war. Mohammed Hussein was disabled during the war and had to return home. Sergeant Pat Nobrega sent a letter to his family from the Japanese camp where he was imprisoned and released in 1945. Yet some Guyanese soldiers never returned home. Stanley Rosa died when a torpedo struck his ship in 1943. Private Clarence Trim from Rose Hall died in battle in Germany. Leslie Augustus James, also a Berbican and member of the Royal Air Force, died in an English hospital in 1945. Built of marble, the cenotaph stands 15 feet high. The words devotion, humanity, fortitude, and sacrifice are etched into the 4 faces of the monument. Once a year on Remembrance Day, a solemn ceremony is held at the cenotaph on the Sunday closest to November 11. Remembrance Day marks the day in 1918 when the Armistice Agreement was signed to end the First World War. The day honors those who sacrificed their lives in the 2 world wars and now has grown to include all people who have died in wars. The ceremony often involves a military parade and the laying of poppy wreaths at the base of the monument. The poppy flower is used to remember those who gave their lives, because they were the flowers which grew on the battlefields after World War I ended. May we never forget their sacrifice.